Bonjour tout le monde. Hi everyone. I'm here today to provide an update in terms of the situation in Sudan. I'd like to begin by saying that the situation remains very volatile and dangerous on the ground and is rapidly evolving. We have ensured that approximately 250 Canadians have been evacuated. 117 Canadians have been evacuated on the 2 flights that left Sudan yesterday. And we have 3 aircraft in the region, that is 2 Hercules and 1 C-17. We are planning to ensure that flights are able to leave as soon as possible. We had planned for 2 flights to leave this morning, but the situation on the ground remains volatile, and one of our planes experienced a mechanical issue which has been resolved. As I said, flights will resume as soon as possible. One of the issues remains a difficult and dangerous, given that a Turkish flight came under fire, and we are now ensuring that the conditions do exist for safe passage out of Sudan. And that is the place that we are at right now, and as I said, the situation is evolving. Maintenant, je voudrais vous donner une mise à jour sur le Soudan. Environ 250 Canadiens ont été évacués déjà. Et le Canada a fait 2 vols d'évacuation. On a évacué par ces vols 117 Canadiens. Nous avons planifié d'avoir 2 vols ce matin, mais on avait un problème mécanique qui a été résolu maintenant. Il y avait aussi un avion turc qui a été la cible des coupes de feu. On espère recommencer les vols si les conditions le permettent. Mais une clarification, le Canada a fait 2 vols d'évacuation déjà, et on a évacué 117 personnes. Avec nos alliés, nous continuons de coordonner les vols. C'est un cas de coordonner, collaborer à l'aéroport avec pas seulement nos officiaux, mais aussi avec nos alliés aussi. Donc, je pourrais recevoir vos questions maintenant.
Minister, thank you for the update for us at CBC News. Just wondering for the numbers, if you have more breakdown of how many Canadian citizens versus how many people have been taken.
We are having a tech brief later today, and my officials will be there to offer the precise details along those lines. But I can say on Canada's CC-130s, as you know, we have 2 in the region. 117 individuals were aboard those planes, 42 Canadians, and together with our allies, in total, approximately 250 Canadians have been evacuated altogether. But as I said, the situation is very dangerous and very volatile on the ground. This situation is evolving rapidly. I am receiving updates on the hour, and I will say that the information that you will receive at the tech brief will have additional information as it becomes available.
Minister, you said Canadian press. Who is it you actually deal with to ensure that flight paths are safe in this country at this time?
As I said, we have approximately 200 Canadian Armed Forces in the region. Global Affairs Canada also has officials at the airport and in the region to ensure that there is safe and secure passage. There are a number of conditions that need to be in place for that to occur, and these conditions are being monitored and addressed by individuals on the ground, as previously mentioned. For example, ensuring that we have host nation consent, ensuring that the airport is acceptable for flights to take off. The terrain at the airport is very rough, and it requires a continual assessment by our officials, together with our allies, that planes can safely take off. The fact that a Turkish aircraft came under fire is also being monitored carefully, and all of that paints a picture that the situation is dangerous, it is volatile, it is intense, and we need to do whatever we can to ensure the safety and security of Canadians at the airport and, of course, as they board flights and take off from the area. We are hoping that flights resume as soon as possible. That is what we are working towards. That's what our officials and the Canadian Armed Forces are working towards. Of course, we need to make sure that that would occur safely, and that's the question on the table right now.
Minister, Chris National Day with CTV National News. We've been following Canadian families trying to flee Sudan. Yesterday, multiple Canadian military flights with space still on board for more passengers took off from the airbase and left Canadian citizens behind on the tarmac, including a mother, a daughter, and a disabled grandmother. Why is the Canadian military leaving Canadians behind in Sudan when they still have space on the planes?
As I said, the conditions at the airport and in order to get to the airport are very difficult. When citizens, and indeed all countries are facing this issue, arrive at the airport, Global Affairs Canada addresses their needs and their willingness to evacuate, and every effort is made to evacuate Canadians as soon as possible once that process is undertaken with Global Affairs Canada. I will say that Global Affairs Canada is in close touch with Canadians, registered Canadians abroad. We encourage all Canadians to continue to contact Global Affairs, including those who have issues relating to their flights. For the Canadian Armed Forces standpoint, our role is to ensure that we are supporting Global Affairs in the processing of Canadians who wish to board flights that we are responsible for ensuring takeoff. That is on the two Hercules CC-130s that are currently in the region. As I said, there was a mechanical issue which has been resolved, and we are looking to restart those flights as soon as possible, given the volatile conditions and as conditions allow.
Do we know the cause of the mechanical issue? Is it anything to do with the conditions at the airport, as you put it?
There are very important conditions to take note of. One of the issues that I am aware of was an oil patch on the runway that needed to be resolved and addressed. In terms of mechanical specificities, I will ask if you could raise that question with my officials at the brief when they will provide more detail.
You mentioned, so just to be clear, there's a mechanical issue with one of the Hercules, is that correct?
Yes.
And you mentioned a third aircraft, which was the C-17. That's the Globemaster, is that correct?
It's to support transportation once Canadians are removed. At the current time, it is Djibouti that we are looking at, but of course, it's a matter of ensuring safety and security. So all of the decisions that we have made will continue to be carried forward with the question of whether that is the right decision to be made going forward as to where Canadians are taken and where they are flying to. But again, we are working in very close coordination with Global Affairs Canada, internally in government, but also with all of our allies. All of our allies are facing similar decision-making issues relating to the safety and security of the airport, relating to the safety and security of Canadians. Donc, c'est important de se souvenir que ça, c'est une situation qui évolue et nous allons recommencer les vols aussitôt que possible si les conditions le permettent.
So just to be clear about which assets are being used for which parts, so the Hercules, the CC-130s, would be used to get them out, to get people out of Sudan?
Yes.
And the Globemaster could be used from
thereafter.
thereafter?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Minister, I know you said the situation there is very volatile, but citizens are reporting that the Canadian military evacuation effort is very disorganized, and compared to other countries like the UK and Germany, why is that the case?
That is not the case on my understanding. I'm following this evacuation effort very closely. I've been in regular contact with General Air, who briefs me, as I said, minute by minute, hour by hour. And our understanding of the situation, given the volatility of the situation, the Canadian Armed Forces are very well organized on the ground. They are monitoring the situation very closely together with our allies, and I can't stress enough how important it is to recognize that we are tied up very closely with our allies in terms of the assessments of the airfield, in terms of the volatility of the situation, in terms of the issues that are arising, for example, relating to a Turkish aircraft coming under fire. All of these assessments are being done not only internally but in conjunction with our allies. Our allies were very committed, as we are, to ensuring the safety and security of their citizens. So I will say this unified approach amongst allies is one of the takeaways from the very difficult and volatile situation, that we can rely on our allies just as they can rely on us. And that's why on Canadian flights you will also see the citizens of our allies aboard those flights. This is an issue of reciprocity for us. It's an issue of unity and collaboration, and that's exactly what we're undertaking with our allies.
Just had a question. If those mechanical issues weren't addressed, what would the contingency plan be to, make sure that people are taken out?
We are examining all options, and this is very serious planning that we're undertaking. And obviously, for operational security reasons, I cannot go into detail about all of the differing options that we are considering right now. But rest assured, we are examining various types of means of evacuation. As you know, we have 2 ships very close by in the harbor, the Asterisk as well as Montreal. And part of the work that we are doing is not only in terms of our assets, the ships, as well as the CC-130s, but also in terms of coordination with our allies. So this is an evolving planning process, and we'll continue to undertake it in earnest. We are not waiting to plan contingencies. We are undertaking that planning as we speak because of the volatility of the situation. Donc, merci beaucoup tout le monde.